Guys, the delusion is real. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a video of a lady who was a matchmaker who quit her job, left her career because of the delusion of these modern women, their unrealistic demands. You know how crazy the demands must have been, I've not watched this yet, for someone to quit their job, to leave their business because of the delusion of these modern women. We live in the upside down. I can't make this stuff up. Let's get at it.
Hello, this is Rebecca Lynn Pope coming on real quick. You guys know that I have been swamped lately, but I promised I would come on and just share my viewpoints on why women are just, many women, I'm not going to say all women, but many women are very, very unrealistic about their standards for men, dating, and marriage. So I'm going to give my opinion on this, and now listen girls, I'm about to be very raw, I'm about to be very real, I'm about to just shoot it to you as just straight as I can, because I'm hoping that this helps somebody. Because as you girls know, I'm a matchmaker, and for a large part of the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I stopped matchmaking. And the reason I stopped matchmaking is because I literally was I can't handle female clients. I was a matchmaker that matched females, and I had a few male clients, but predominantly I was matching women. And listen, it was such a valuable lesson for me, because what I learned is that the average woman doesn't really want just a good man. She doesn't want a husband.
This lady gets it. And the women do it to themselves. Like the women and their friends all telling each other they're queens and they're tens and you deserve this and you should get better. And like, never talk, if you're a girl out there, don't talk about your relationship with your girlfriend. Just talk with your husband or your boyfriend, because they are not helpful and they don't give good advice. Men at least will keep each other accountable. Like, you know, you want the best for your friend, but you're gonna keep it realistic. If your friend's fucking up, you're gonna tell him he's fucking up.
What she's really wanting are these standards or ideas that she has of what a man is supposed to be. But this is nothing what men are. This is not realistic for who men are, how they think, what they value. It's just this preconceived, idea that women have of who men should be. But this is not reality. Okay, so literally the standards here that I see consistently in women that stay single, do not get married, and the difference between women and wives is understanding, one, that men are not women. He's not going to be your best friend like your best girlfriend. You can't talk to him like that. They don't talk like that. They don't talk that much. They're not so sensitive and girly the way we are as women. So if you're expecting a man to be all super sensitive and so considerate and just so everything like your girlfriends, you're barking up the wrong tree. He's gonna hurt your feelings all the time, or else you're gonna feel like he doesn't communicate because you're holding these standards like he's a girl. I'm sorry, leave that to your gay guy friends. Or leave that to your your bestie guys that talk kind of like girls. Your man that you're going to marry is not going to be like that, right? The second standard is this. You're comparing good men to, I can't say this, F-boys. I'm just going to say it. You're comparing good men to the men that you've experienced previously who were not ready to be husbands, that you were just dating, messing around with. I mean, literally, there's a distinct difference between marriage material, men who are ready to be husbands, and these F-boys that you've been messing around with in and out of these situationships with for years. And so now you have this standard for a man and a husband based on these dudes that have just been playboys, fun, boy toys, whatever you want to call it, girls, okay? You can call it whatever you want. But now you set this standard to.
And that's what happens. Her clients are most likely in their 30s because they're paying her. So I'm going to guess they've established themselves a little bit. They've had a career, and now maybe they want to settle down a bit, right? They're starting to think, the biological clock's starting to tick. But now the men that are their age, they don't want them. Those men that have a lot of money, the men that they were dating in their 20s are thinking, no, they're dating 20-year-olds. Because men, your value starts around 30, right? You have to establish yourself, because women, you know, we talk about this, hypergamy, they date for status, they want a dude with money, with values, who's assertive, who's a leader, and they want these dudes, but those dudes now, they don't want these girls that have been ran through, and they're finding it a problem. You gotta be realistic. Men, we keep each other accountable. We have accountability. Amongst your friends, you know, you keep each other accountable. I do with my friends anyway. I have a small circle, but we keep each other accountable, and women don't.
To say he's supposed to look like this, he's supposed to act like that. Oh, you know what? He's too corny. He likes me too much. He texts me too much. Yeah, because the men that you were messing with, you weren't even the only one. They don't text you right back. They don't call you right back because they have 8 more just like you. So a man comes along that is crazy about you and is interested in you, and I'm sorry to say, you have friend zoned the men that really you're compatible with, the men that would make a wonderful husband. A lot of you have friend zoned the good dude who's ready to be a husband and a father and give you some pretty babies. Because the other thing is men do not look like us. Let me be clear about this. We are the fairer sex. God created us to be beautiful, not men. If you get a pretty boy and they super fine and they in the mirror more than you, honey, rest assured, he probably got some habits that go along with that. He needs all the attention from all the women because he likes to feel like he's it. And if he's actually better than you, you got a problem. But the problem is you looking at visuals and thinking that men are supposed to look like us or be just as gorgeous as us. No, that's not how God created this whole scenario. You are the fairer sex. You're the beautiful one. You're the gorgeous one. You're the one that men go to war over. You're the one that men literally will kill for. You're the one that they're out here trying to make all this money to impress you, to get you.
A few days ago, I go to the bar with a buddy of mine who's got a pretty big YouTube channel. I won't name him because his girlfriend might be one of the 3 people that watch my videos. This is not my home. If you don't know, I live in Bangkok. I'm in Phuket right now. This crappy decor behind me is not mine. This is an Airbnb. I did not choose this. Long story short, we're at the bar. These 2 Canadian ladies walk up to us. They're in their mid-30s. They want to chat. We're in Thailand, full of beautiful women, as if we want to talk to 2 middle-aged Canadian ladies, but that's beside the point. You're nice. You say hi. And turns out the one girl, she was here finding herself. Most likely found herself in some other guy's bed. The point was she had left her husband because he wouldn't quit his job and better his situation. Let me tell you, the guy apparently was making over 80 grand a year working for FedEx. She told us that she made 45 grand a year. He was still making double what she made, and she left this man who I'm going to assume took care of her. I'm going to assume that he was a good man because it wasn't mentioned that he was a dick or anything like that. The only thing that was mentioned was that he didn't want to leave his job. Now, you would assume that working for FedEx for a long time, you have a pension plan, you probably got some health insurance, you're in Canada, so you would, and you get the free healthcare. Probably has a good situation. He probably likes the job, probably likes the men that he works with. He doesn't want to go put himself in another setting. Whatever the reason, it's his own freaking life, and he's making a good income. Do you really think these women, they're delusional, that she's going to leave this guy in her 30s and find a better man? This is not going to happen.
Quit looking at men. Is he 6'2"? Is he look like Boris Kodjoe or Idris Elba or Michael Ealy? Do you know the percentages of men? This is what I just would die to say to my matchmaking clients and the people that would come in for consultations because they want to be matched. And they're coming to me. I'm sitting here just being a good woman. So I'm thinking these women just want to be married. These women just want a good man. Nah, boo, that's not what they wanted. What they want is if I'm going to pay this money, I want me a Michael Ealy. I want me a Boris Kodjoe. Well, look, boo, Boris Kodjoe's married. Last time I checked, Idris Elba's taken. These men are such a small percentage of the population. Do you guys understand that for a man to be over 6'2" is less than 3% of the population? And we're talking all men around the world, less than 3% of the population. Now you take out the gay.
This started off very calm. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And now as she keeps going, you can tell she's got some shit on her chest to get off, man.
guys, and you take out the guys that are not black or whatever race specific that you prefer your husband to be, and you take out the men that are broke, and you take out the players, the men who are just not ready, and who are not ready to get married, aren't even looking for a wife, don't want that responsibility yet. Think about these numbers. Less than 3%. Less than 14% of the entire American male population is over 6 foot. Less than 14%. And that's all the married men and the men in prison. All of them, girls. So you're sitting around here like, oh, he's got to be 6 foot and he's got to look like this and he's got to make 6 figures or 7 figures. When you start at just height alone, do you hear the percentage that I just gave you on just height? Just height. And if you add in what he looks like looking like Idris and making money like this and that, honey, look, you looking for the come up for real, because I don't know where he's at. I was matchmaking, I would be like, man, I would go find these incredible men, and they would be like, oh, I would never date him. I'm like,
guys, if any of you watching this are still dealing with this nonsense, there's a better life on this side of the world, boys.
I just went and found a freaking pilot, ex-Falcons player. Are you serious?
She found a girl, a pilot. Now, I don't know what a pilot makes in a year, but I would assume that's a good freaking salary. But yeah, maybe he was under 6 feet. Imagine the amount of women that would not be unhappy, like her clients say, or these women that we talk about here. Because not all women are, look, I'm not going to put on all women, but like these modern women that we talk about, imagine how many of them would be happy if they got rid of these crazy standards and were just happy with a dude that's 5'10", who makes 80 grand a year, who's going to treat them good, who's a good provider. I mean, there's a lot of those men out there who go to work every freaking day, welders, construction guys, truckers, but nah, you got to be a basketball player. You got to be a dude that's going to pretty much cheat on them. Like,
but he don't look, it's like he's got to be perfect. But you're not perfect. You got issues and unresolved issues, and you got a temper, and you're bossy and you're controlling, and men don't even like to be around you long term. You run everybody away. You think you're so much the ish that you're bougie and vain and stuck up, and men don't like it. And you wonder why you can't keep a man. You wonder why nobody wants to be around you. Sweetheart, listen, get nice. Be sweet. Men are simple creatures. They're simple, but your standards are standardizing you right out of the game. Everybody else is getting married. Everybody else is having babies. But you steady like, oh, I'm not settling. I'm not going to settle. I know what I deserve. And you know, even when I post those type of memes, I'm like, you know what? There's some real stuck up women right now that are about to read this, and it's going to reinforce literally their false standards, their ridiculous standards. You know what? I'm not gonna settle. But in the meantime, boo, you're not even half the things that you have on your list as requirements for a man. You're not even half those things. But you want that in a man. And you don't want to build with anybody. You don't want to build a life together. Listen, honey, you better find yourself a Build-A-Bear. You need to find yourself a Build-A-Boo. Okay, somebody that meets some requirements of who you want in character, your values, integrity, right? Lifestyle, goals, vision. Where are you two going together? Purpose.
Where you're going together is a good one, because I was talking to a young fellow on IG who his girlfriend had left him a couple months ago because they were struggling. They weren't paying the rent on time. Like, he was having financial problems, but he's a young fellow, just finished university, he was in debt, starting his business, and it was rough at first. He's fine now. He's killing it now. But his girlfriend left him, and this is a kid that has drive, that was going places. Like, girls, if you're dating a dude, date him if he's a young guy. Don't expect him to have $1 million by the time he's 24 years old. Like, you're not going to be in the 1% of the population by the time you're 24, 23, 25, most likely. It doesn't mean that you can't earn a good income of money. It doesn't mean that you can't make $10K a month, but the chances of you making $1 million a year at that age is very small. But if you can see that the guy is going places, don't leave them. I hear stories so many times of these girls that have left these good dudes, and the only thing that I wish that I can tell the guys is, if somebody leaves you because you don't have anything and you're going towards something, you got to make sure that you crush it, because you got to make sure that in a year or 2 years or 3 years that they look back and they regret that fucking day that they let you leave. And you got to always make sure that you're going to be doing better than, and I know this might sound petty, but I'm petty. You got to make sure that you're always going to be doing better than they are in life. And you got to crush it. At that point, you got to crush it.
Passion. Somebody when I made this post, everybody went off on it, said, what did you compromise on when it came to Mr. Poe? What did you compromise on? Listen, girls, I'm writing it in my book right now. I came from dating Mr. Gorgeous. I came from dating Mr. Trainer. I came from dating Mr. Baller. I was flying here and doing this and that. And at the end of the day, all of them were players. They were F-boys. No, I'm not supposed to say that word, but I don't have another word for it. Y'all want to turn hoes into husbands the same way men want to turn hoes into housewives. And that's just not how it works. Because until a man is ready, he is not going to choose you. It doesn't matter how you put it down in the bedroom. It doesn't matter what kind of values. It doesn't matter how big your butt is and what you look like. Until a man is ready, he is not settling down.
Funny how many girls think that men care about this, like how good you can suck dick or how good you can fuck. Men don't care. If you're looking for a wife or a long-term partner, we do not care about that. We care that you have a low body count because we want you to be able to pair a bond properly. We want somebody who's going to bring us peace. At the end of the day, that's what we want. Somebody a little bit more feminine, more youthful, more compliant, low body count. Who's going to bring us peace? How hard is it to suck dick or fuck? It's not that hard. You can teach the girl that if you really want to, but it's not that hard. We do not care about that when it comes for a long-term partner. We don't care. You might care about it if you're taking a girl home for the night, you might care, but long-term, no one cares.
And literally, I'm literally writing this. So my compromises came because I had these standards, just like most of you, that were way up here because I had all these experiences that created an appetite. It created a false standard in my life of what I thought I deserved or what I thought I needed. But yet it was a false standard because none of them were men of God. None of them were Carrie Pope. None of them literally had their values. They weren't good husbands and fathers and brothers. They don't take care of their mama. Literally, these men lacked all the values that really matter in a marriage. A husband is totally different than dudes you date out here, these dudes that are just playing around. A husband is a totally different animal. And so like many of you, I had these standards. I had a type.
Funny how these women that think that these 1% dudes, like say a top 1% guy, really good looking, 6'3", and how much would he have to make? Like say $1 million a year, because like six figures, like 100 grand, 200 grand, like I make that. That's easy money. But $1 million that's a lot of freaking money to make that in a year or more. That's a good salary. You're in the top percentage, especially if you look good. So imagine like you're dating that dude and he's not committing to you and he's cheating on you and he's got a bunch of other birds. You think like when your value's the highest right now, when you're young, before you're married, if he's not willing to commit to you, then he ain't going to commit to you later. That's not going to happen. But a lot of women are willing to put up with that because they get to live the lifestyle, they get the money, they get to look good on Instagram, and that is a thing. We live in the upside down. Instagram, looking good on photos for other people is important. So they're willing to put up with that. They're willing to have the guy cheat on them just to have the lifestyle, and that makes no sense. Again, we live in a clown world.
Let's be real, girl. I had type. My type was businessman. My type was CEO. My type was getting it done. My type was literally go-getter. 6- and 7-figure men running companies. Those are the only kind of men I was in relationships with. Okay, that's what I was committing to. I played with some boy toys from that instead of F-boys. Okay, girls, boy toys. I played around thinking I was trying to be serious because of lust. So many of you have fallen in lust, and then you think and now you want love and you're trying to compare it to lust, and that's not how love works. So you date Mr. Gorgeous and he's got the 6-pack and he's 6'4" and he's chocolate, and then you date the Mr. Baller and he got money and you in the Benz and you whipping and you flying and you drinking and dinner, whining and dining. And at the end of the day now, you created an appetite for yourself, or you, better yet, maybe you haven't even experienced it for yourself like me, but you want it. So you're on Instagram and you're looking at people's lifestyles and you're looking at people on the scene traveling and doing all this and comparing yourself and saying, why can't I have that? I want that life too. And then when a good man comes along, you're comparing him saying, no, he's not giving me that lifestyle. I want that I see other people having. I deserve that. I'm just as pretty as that. I need to get me a man that's a baller too. And so now you have these false standards, whether you've experienced it or whether you just want it. That lust of the eye, whether you're just, you might not have ever experienced it, but you're saying, well, that's what I want. But either way, you're messed up, boo. Either way, you're not getting married. And if you do mess up, and get one of these dudes on a string and get him to marry you. You notice I said get him to marry you. You're going to be in so much trouble because he ain't going to change.
I'm going to stop it here. That'll be it for this video. Imagine having to deal with these ladies all day in, day out, every day, and that's your job. Like, no wonder she quit and went towards dealing with men. Man, way easier. We're not that demanding. Really, seriously, we are not. And that's why men are checking out. That's why men are going to other places. I talked to a guy who went to Georgia, the country, not the state, and he's happy as a pig in shit. Found a nice wife, 25 years old, he's about 40, happy, been married for a couple of years. They were just in Bangkok when I was there a few weeks ago. Men are checking out. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, consider giving it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you all in the next video.